Today, we're going to talk about my personal goal setting framework, right? We are, again, just at that halfway point in the year. July is already almost over, so we're venturing into the back half of the year. We've climbed halfway up the mountain. Now we got to climb down the other side. And the question is, how are we going to finish, right? One of those things that might help you finish strong is reevaluating how you set goals. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Financial Freedom Fast Lane. And you already know, the quicker you get to your dream life, the longer you get to live it. And I'm your host, George Achenpong. All right, so you're probably wondering, why do I have on shades? What's going on with this backdrop? Well, I'm actually live from Lake Como, Italy. Had a good friend of mine who's getting married, but I cannot not be consistent. So we're going to get it in how we fit it in, regardless of where we are in the world. So last week, as you know, I was in Chicago, just coming off the podcast tour. So I am on a run right now, a sprint, if you will. I'm going to be so glad to get back home in my regular schmegular backdrop that y'all all know and love, with the podcast mic and all the things. But nonetheless, we're going to get y'all this content. And today we're going to talk about my personal goal setting framework. Right? We are, again, just at that halfway point in the year. July is already almost over, so we're venturing into the back half of the year. We've climbed halfway up the mountain. Now we got to climb down the other side. And the question is, how are we going to finish, right? One of those things that might help you finish strong is reevaluating how you set goals, okay? So number one is identify the goal and be specific. And I'm going to give you guys an exact example, right? I always like using fitness because that's the one thing that you can't fake. I mean, granted, people have ways of doing their thing, but by and large, you have to earn that, right? You got to earn the body that you have. You have to build it, although some do like to buy it. But hey, that's not this particular segment of the show. So we're going to talk about the people who are going to build it, right? So number one, be specific, right? Be specific. So that might look like, I will be 100, or I will weigh 185 pounds. That's specific. Not I'll lose weight, not I want to get in better shape, right? That's a specific goal, right? Identify the goal. I will be 185 pounds. That's the goal, right? That's actually my goal. So I got a few pounds to lose. All right, number two. When are you going to hit that goal, right? When are you going to hit that goal? Because a goal without a deadline is a wish. Now, this one's a little bit nuanced, right? Because sometimes you can't control the date, right? You can only control your outcome. Your effort. You can't. I saw this one quote that really summed it up really well, but I'll probably butcher it, so I'm not going to say it. But basically, it was like, you can't control the date, right? And there's some of the clever way they said it, but that's the truth. You can't control the date. However, you can pick a date and do the activities that, hey, if I did this, I have a very, very, very strong chance of hitting it by this date. And part of that being a reality is you have to contextualize the goal, right? Like, for example, if you've never made $100,000, you can't say, I'm gonna say you can't say it, but it might not be smart to say, I'm gonna make $1 million in 6 months, and you never even made 100,000. I'll never forget. I was working out at the gym. This has got to be 2014. This is probably before I had my spinal fusion surgery, 2013, something like that. It's back when I used to squat a lot of weight. And there was this gentleman that walked in the gym, and he was like, and for a second there, he's like, yo, man, I love what you're doing. Like, I want to work out. I want to get big. I want to get swole. Boom, boom, boom. Then there's a gentleman that walked in that was much bigger than me. I mean, probably like a professional bodybuilder status, right? Not saying that that's how good you got to look to beat me. I'm not saying that. But he was a swole dude. And then Buddy immediately diverted his attention. He was like, oh, I want to look like him. I said, hey, listen, bro. The road to him is through me, right? Like, everybody want the 7-figure year, but ain't hit 6 figures, right? Or ain't even hit 5 figures. So it's like, you want to obviously contextualize the goal. I'm not saying that you can't be optimistic about having hairy, audacious goals, but maybe it makes sense to make the first goal the milestone that you would have to hit in order to hit that goal. Does that make sense? Because I think that makes it more tangible. But do with it whatever you will. That's just my suggestion, right? Is like, if you're gonna set a date to it, I don't want you to get discouraged by picking a date that doesn't make sense based upon the context of the goal, right? So really just think about it, do some due diligence, and like, okay, well, why do I believe I can hit this goal by this date, right? Is there evidence that this is possible, or am I operating off of emotion? All right. Goal setting framework number 3, outline what you will give up / eliminate. You have to ask yourself, what are you willing to give up to go up? If you think that you can have everything you have right now, do exactly what you're doing right now, and become a better version of yourself, I got a bridge to sell you. It's not possible, okay? There's gonna be something that you have to give up, something that you have to let go to levitate, something that you have to give up to go up. Yeah, I know I'm good for these one-liners, right? But identify what you're gonna give up. Now, I don't personally eat candy, but this is a tangible example. I'm gonna give up candy for 60 days, or I'm gonna give up sweets for 60 days, or whatever it is that you're gonna give up, that you identify, which again is based upon what you believe is currently holding you back. So part of this goal setting framework process is a reflection, right? Like going back into your mental Rolodex and like, what have I done over the past several days or months or years that maybe have gotten me in a position to where I'm not in the space where I want to hit the goal. Like, so for me, I've been out of my routine. I've been traveling a lot, and it hasn't been nearly as easy to keep up with the things I need to keep up with. I've been slammed with work and travel and everything like that. So I haven't been dialed in, right? So for me, I know that if one or two things have to happen, either the travel has to taper down, or I have to be way more proactive with how I plan out my nutrition and my workouts while traveling, so that it doesn't get lost in the shuffle, right? Because we all fall down. I was just listening to that song. Y'all probably see it on the recap. You know the Kanye West song. We all falls down. Singing is not my strong suit, but you know. Anywho, all right. So what are you willing to give up to go up? Like really think about it, right? If it's financial, I know this is financial freedom fast lane, but concepts govern specifics, right? Like if it's financial, then like, what are those things? Is it, man, I might have to give up going out for a while. Man, I might have to give up shopping for a little bit. Like, what are the things that you have to give up to go up? Or as the ladies like to say, the glow up, right? Whatever it is, what are you willing to give up to get there? That's part 3 of the goal setting framework. This is a big one. Number 4, create a plan. I know this sounds simple, but you'd be surprised with how many people say, I want to make $100,000. Or how many people say, I want to lose 20 pounds. And they don't have a plan. What is the plan? And here's the sauce of the plan. You got to start that day, right? Like you got to start that day, because if you wait until you get the perfect pair of workout shoes, you wait until you get everything set up the right way with your business account, like no. Create a plan that allows you to get started immediately. You can refine it. You can evolve it. You don't need anything special to work out. You don't need weights. You don't need anything but your body weight, right? You could drop down right now and give 10 push-ups, right? You could do 10 pull-ups right now. You could run in place. You could do jumping jacks. So start a plan and execute on it today. And I don't care if that for you, whatever your goal is, that what you can do today isn't all the things you would ultimately need to be successful. I'd rather you get started today and get as close to that as possible than wait till you have all the things. Because waiting till you have all the things is just a delusion. People are like, oh, well, once I have the new workout clothes, and once I have this, and once I have the gym membership, once I have that, I'll get started. No, get started today, right? And if the goal is financial, I know that's why a lot of you guys follow me, just insert the same concepts. I always try to give abstract concepts to show you guys that this works with anything, right? How you do anything, as they say, is how you do everything. Which that quote is kind of up for review. That's another story for another day. But you get the point, right? Like these things can be true across multiple different goals, right? So create a plan and start today. Okay. Or at the very least, start tomorrow, depending upon when you create the plan, right? Within 24 hours, let's say that. Within 24 hours of creating the plan, you have to start. All right. The next thing is, how will you make it easy on yourself, right? Identify how hitting this goal will be easy. It's a psychological thing. Like when someone says something that they want to charge for their like service in their business, it's actually only 100,000, right? So how will you make it easy for yourself? How will you condition yourself to know that this is easy? But you can do this in a tangible way. So for example, let's say that your big thing was your midnight snack, right? You're watching TV, you go in the pantry and you got your snacks. Right? Remove all the barriers to entry, right? Or excuse me, like create the barrier to entry by removing the things that previously, right, made it easy for you to gain the weight or made it easy for you to spend the money, right? How will you make it easy on yourself? Maybe if online shopping is your thing, maybe you need to inconvenience yourself by removing like Apple Pay or like those easy to pay features on your phone. Now, will that be inconvenient for stuff that you actually need to buy? Absolutely. But you'll think twice about that purchase if you got to go upstairs and get your wallet, go upstairs and get your credit card, and you can't just automatically just enter your credentials in, right? So how will you make it easy to hit that goal? If it's, again, using fitness as an example, maybe it's putting the clothes in the passenger seat so that when you leave the office, you can go straight to the gym. Maybe it's putting it on the nightstand. Maybe like, what can you do to make it easier? I won't say easy, make it easier on yourself, because at the end of the day, you still got to do the thing, but how can you make it easier? Like, ask yourself, what's making it not as easy right now, and what can I do to make it easier? Right? I remember one time when I was trying to like just only drink water, and like I think at the time we just didn't have any juice in the house, and like I was like, I just wanted another taste. I want something other than water. I was like, gosh, I just want some lemonade or something right now. And I had like this sugar-free margarita mix, and I lied to you, I didn't make the margarita, but I was like, I just need something. I need a little taste of something. And I poured a little bit of that margarita mix in a glass because I just wanted something that was tasted different than water, right? So like literally there was no way for me to mess it up because I removed all of the circumstances. There's only so many times you can go in Krispy Kreme and not get a donut, right? Like, if you put yourself in an environment where you're having to be extra disciplined, it's going to be harder, right? How can I make it easier on myself? That is part of the goal setting framework. All right, part 6 of the goal setting framework. I don't think I mentioned the last part was part 5, but part 6 is reminding yourself that what you are getting in return is greater than what you are giving up. Oftentimes when we go pursue a goal, we're thinking about all the sacrifices, all the things that we're having to give up in order to get what we want, right? But what about the things that you're gaining, right? So I want you to focus on that daily. Like, by not doing this or by pursuing this goal, I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. I'm going to feel amazing. I'm going to have all the confidence in the world. Like, whatever it might be for you, right? Like, that's what I want you to focus on. Because if you focus on what you're giving up, then that's all you're going to think about. And then ultimately that's going to lead you to potentially and eventually caving and not completing the goal. All right. Part 7 of the goal setting framework is write a clear and concise statement summarizing the goal. Right? Write a clear and concise statement summarizing the goal. So for example, it might sound something like this. I will weigh 185 pounds by December 1st, 2023. In order to get there, I'm giving up candy. I'm giving up soda. I am so excited about this goal because it's going to help me feel amazing, look the best I've ever looked. Right? And I can't wait to achieve it, right? Just give you an example. I probably missed some of the things that you got to include in that, but oh yeah, I will make it easy on myself by removing all the junk food from my house, right? So like you would create the statement of all the things that we just went through, right? In order for you to be able to have a summary version of that goal, something you can read every day. You can indoctrinate yourself with that goal. Last but not least is you have to read it out loud every single day, right? Every single day. Kind of just spilled my candy in the lobby, but the previous one. But like, you got to read it outside, read it out loud. You can read it outside if you want to. Read it out loud every day, right? This is your mantra for the duration of the time period that you're trying to achieve this goal, right? So read it out loud every day, because now you have 3 levels of embedding it into your mind. Number 1, you have writing it, right, is making it plain and making it real. Number 2, reading it, right, and hearing your own self affirm exactly what you're going to do and why. And then 3, hearing yourself say it, right? All 3 of those things, right, are going to make this a part of your reality, okay? So use and steal and duplicate my goal setting framework so that you can make sure that the rest of 2023 is nothing short of amazing. Okay? Now, again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Financial Freedom Fast Lane. The quicker you get to your dream life, the longer you get to live it. And remember, freedom is for sale if you're willing to pay the price. Until next time, peace.